Thanks for the support as a channel member, Craig Allen. Well, this intro could have gone very differently because I didn't think we were ever going to score a Premier League goal. Then we scored 5 away against Liverpool. Hello and welcome to part 102 of Bourne Again. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have 2 Premier League games for you. We're at home against Arsenal and away against Tottenham. Since you were last with me, I was pretty miserable by the end of August. But then we managed to scrape a win away against Leeds. As you can see, Sir Alan Hardy has been back in goal this whole time. But we managed to scrape a win against Leeds. And that then gave us the confidence to go to Liverpool and do something truly extraordinary. A 5-2 away win over Liverpool. Absolutely ridiculous. And then a draw at home to West Ham means that 7 games or 6 games in, we're above the Kev ratio, which I did not expect to be at any point this season. 8 points from our first 6 games. These next 2 games are obviously going to be very difficult ones as well. Arsenal, although Tottenham have had a bad start, but Arsenal's going to be tricky. Tottenham, maybe we could pick up a point, maybe 3. As ever with these new promotion seasons, our goal is just to get to a points target as quickly as possible. If we can, the sooner we get to 40 points, the better. And after that Liverpool and Leeds result, we're already nearly a quarter of the way there, only 6 games in. So more of that, please. Let's start things off first of all with the Arsenal game. We are at home. This is the team we're putting out there. We've got Sir Alan Hardy in goal, a back four of Cogney, Vitor Hugo, Reed and Quero, Johansson and Mira in midfield, Minic, Robinson and Cernajacki behind Gomez up front. This is Johansson's first start for the club. Arnautovic had been playing in that role but got himself sent off in that West Ham game, which is what makes the 0-0 all the more impressive. That Arnautovic got sent off before half-time and we still managed to hold on. We're turning into... you saw little flashes of it in the Chelsea game yesterday, less so in the other one that we don't want to talk about anymore. But we're a solid looking unit at times. Of course, we do have the capacity to just absolutely collapse the way we did in that game against Stoke. Although, as you can see, Stoke are up there second in the league. So those first 2 games that you saw yesterday, for your context, those 2 teams are the top 2 teams in the division now. So hopefully that adjusts some of the expectation based on how we got on yesterday. That feels like a goal that should be disallowed. It is being disallowed. I don't even know why. It just felt like it should be. The fact Sir Alan Hardy conceded at his near post always suggests something fishy is going on. Very questionable offside, but Hardy doesn't miss those. And thankfully, the world agrees and the goal is disallowed and we're back to 0-0, which is splendid stuff. If we can pick up a draw in this game, that would be outstanding. I'd love that. Of course, in the Tottenham game, we're going to have to be without Robinson, who's on loan from Tottenham. So I don't know. Arsenal are going to beat us. Just look at how everyone around Arsenal are. That's where your Chelseas and your Stokes are. Your really big clubs. It's Tottenham where I think a narrow defeat against Arsenal and an away draw against Tottenham, and we'll call that a successful episode. Anything over and above that, and we're super duper happy. I thought that was a super save from Hardy, but it's actually hit the top of the crossbar. But none of us would be surprised with a super save from Hardy, but it wasn't one just there, and we're accumulating some yellow cards. Quite a few of them. Quero now plays it to Mira. Mira to Robinson. Robinson looks up, plays it into the path of Quero, who's already no longer got full position suitability at centre-back. He is turning into a right-back before our eyes and heads it into Cernajacki. Mira plays it across to Johansson. Johansson to Cogney, who's got himself in a shooting position. Shoots. Cernajacki's there, and we've got a goal against Arsenal. It's a second goal of the season for Mitar Cernajacki. We billed him as our star player before the season started. He has been one of our best players rating-wise. Not quite got the goals I would have hoped for from him, but then he's still a young lad in the Premier League in a new country for the first time. And the fact that he's got, I think, 2 goals that is now this season, it's a pretty solid start for Cernajacki. He is going to be a superstar. And if we can hold on here, we're going in at half-time 1-0 up against Arsenal, which would be a fantastic 45 minutes of football. Gomez is in here. He tried to do the fancy, I always refer to that as the Thierry Henry finish, where you're coming in from like the left flank and you sort of angle your body and play it with the inside of your right foot. He didn't really. He's no Henry. That's what we've learnt about him there. He's no Thierry Henry. It's nice of him to try and do it against Arsenal for the nostalgia pop, but yeah, he probably should have just wellied it. Gomez, I'm on the fence about Gomez. He did score a couple of goals against Liverpool, and he does look dangerous at times. And Lahif doesn't really when he comes on. But I don't know. No one's really scoring really fluently. I think whoever's playing up front for us this year, if they get into double figures for goals, we'll consider that a job well done. Lahif's going to come on now with 20 minutes to go, and we're going to change up. Have we got anyone that we can bring on? We're going to bring on Bruce for Minich as well. Bruce has now played his first 6 games for Wales. He got his first cap over the summer, and somehow Wales have now played 6 games. So did we have an international tournament? We must have had an international tournament in the summer, and Wales must have gone to it. And Bruce playing, what would it have been? Would that be the World Cup in 2034? We could go and have a look, I suppose. It probably is the World Cup because we were offered all sorts of international jobs. Jackie plays it into Lahif, and Evan Lahif has his first goal of the season, his first ever goal in the Premier League. And with 18 minutes left in this game, we're 2-0 up against Arsenal. And this is ridiculous now. Quero does really well down this right-hand side, plays it into the path of Jackie, who takes it to the byline, crosses for Lahif, and it's 2-0. And Jackie is a good footballer. Lahif can score from there. We know that about him. We saw enough of that last year. Right, Robinson, he's going to come off now, and we're just going to drop back to the more defensive system, stick Mira in behind the two of those, and just do this to try and see out the game. We're obviously going to stay on the positive. In fact, no, we're going to drop back to balanced. We're going to try and be sensible. We're going to drop a little bit of praise as well, and hopefully not throw this away, although Arsenal dancing through, but Sir Alan Hardy has it covered all the way. He is a Premier League goalkeeper, boys and girls. Our fortunes changed when Sir Alan Hardy came back into the team. Missed those first 2 games, but Stančić has been seen off. How many goalkeepers is Sir Alan Hardy going to see off in his career before we eventually replace him? What a result that is. Bourne 2, Arsenal 0 in the league. In front of, I didn't even look at the attendance, in front of, it doesn't say on there, I'm sure it must be a record attendance, 15,476 people crammed into the Noel Cantwell Arena, and that's us on an unbeaten run now. Bourne make it 5 unbeaten in our first ever season in the Premier League. If we can keep that run going against Tottenham, then yay, that would be awesome. 11 points on the board already. Ridiculous. Attendances and TV money already starting to flow in. We were up to £14 million, so the board have agreed yet another data analysis upgrade. But even more impressively, they've increased our wage budget from £800,000 a week to £1.2 million a week, and given me a new £28 million budget. We had a £30 million budget to begin with, spent it all. They've given me another £28 million to spend in January. I mean, that's a lot of money. January's going to be super duper. Well, many changes for the Tottenham games. Our players are dropping like flies. Jake Bruce has a hip injury. He's going to be out for the next 2 to 3 months. Parasido's still injured. Alan Reed's now picked up an injury. He's going to be out for the next couple of weeks. Cogney also injured, missing today's game. Rui's still injured, which means a first Premier League start for Vukasin Minich. So we've got both Miniches in the team at the same time. That's not going to get confusing at all. We have been able to bring Arnautovic back in alongside Mira in central midfield, though youngster Regulus is going to be playing. He played a few games earlier in the year when Cogney was injured. He's having to come in again. It's very early for him to be playing so much football, but he might go on to be brilliant. Who knows? Cruz also comes in at the back to play alongside Vitor Hugo, with Quero staying out at right back. Let's get into the game, and let's... we can lose this one now. Tottenham have had a bad start, so it's nice to think that we can keep our unbeaten run going, but if you'd have offered me 3 points from this episode, I'd have absolutely bitten your arm off. So let's just see if we can just survive it. This guy, Stamenkovic, we tried to sign him on loan last season. He was out. He's like 18 years old. I'll try and remember to show you him after the game. Can't do it during the game. superstition and all that. He's like 18, 19 years old. He was out on loan, I think somewhere in Scandinavia. It was somewhere that had a summer season. So he'd done half a season, scored a ridiculous amount of goals, tried to bring him in on loan, tried to take over his existing loan, and he didn't want to come to me. He went back to Tottenham in January and just started scoring goals for fun. He is going to be an absolute superstar. And I found him first. I found him after Tottenham. And he wouldn't come to me, but I am aware of him. It's nice to run into a player I'm aware of. Shows my scouting system isn't as useless as sometimes I worry that it is. Gomez nods it down to Cernajacki, who's just going to run at this Tottenham defence. Cernajacki, he's not quite the finished article yet, is he? But he always looks dangerous whenever he's got the ball. So that's a positive thing. 20 minutes in, it's been a pretty even game between the two of us so far. It's now Tottenham getting their turn at having an attack. Hopefully we can deal with it. But remember, we've not got Cogney in at the moment in this left back position. So attacking down our right hand side is going to be relatively straightforward. So they come down the other side and score. Of course they do. Hardy concedes a goal in the Premier League in front of you lot for the first time. He's conceded a couple, but he's been much better than Stančić was. So I'm not desperate to drop Hardy anytime soon, despite the fact we theoretically have 2 3-star goalkeepers according to the star ratings. But someone's got to come in and be noticeably better than Hardy for me to want to drop him, because he's a club legend, or he should be. He's not even on the favoured personnel list. Cernajacki plays it into Gomez. That must be a penalty. I think, is it a penalty? Are we going to the little telly? No, we're just going straight to the penalty. It's going to be Gomez to take for his 3rd goal of the season, I think this would be. One of the first 2 was from the penalty spot as well. And he scores. It's 1-1, 23 minutes on the clock. And we've got an almost immediate reply equaliser thing. I mean, that's football commentary right there. I don't know why I don't work for the BBC. It baffles me every single day. 3rd goal of the season for Christian Gomez. And that would put us to 12 points from our first 8 games, which would be phenomenal. Cuero with the long throw, but the goalkeeper just comes and plucks it out of the sky. There wasn't really anyone in there threatening from it. I think we what we are missing with not having Kalic now, we haven't got a real giant centre-back to go forward for stuff like that. I think I need to adjust the throw-in instructions to have an Arnautovic as the man challenging in there, because he's like 6'4", 6'5". But I think our 2 centre-backs are both around 6 foot. So not short, but not going to dominate over a goalkeeper the way Kalic used to. So I think Arnautovic needs to be the man that we're aiming at for set pieces now, even though he's not the best in the air, but just the fact that he's really big. I mean, he scores his share of headers as it is. Right, we're pressing their goalkeeper here, and they just play it around us as if we're a Championship team and they're a Premier League team. But the important thing is the scoreline is still 1-1. So I don't care. They can pass it around us all day long as long as they're doing it back here. Keep the ball in your own half as much as you like. We're getting very close to nipping it off them in there somewhere. Why did I say? That's 3 times now I've noticed when I say nip rather than nick in that situation. I need to work on that. And there is Stamenkovic, who we were talking about before. Always happens. Mention a player, he will score. It's the rules of Football Manager, as we all know. Vedran Stamenkovic, he's not scored as many goals this season. It's certainly not as prolifically this year as he was last year. It's too hot. I'm losing the ability to speak. I've recorded like 5 videos back to back today, and I've had enough of sitting out at my garage at this point. I'm melting in this heat. I need a fan. But I can't have it on because it's too noisy. Oh, I need an ice pack. So I put an ice pack down the back of my shirt. Cernajacki now with the corner finds Cruz. Cruz, we were just talking about it from throws. It's going to be the same from corners. Not quite dominant enough in the air to make a real impact from these set pieces. So I think that is something I need to work on before the next episode. Get our set pieces just right. Right, we're the underdogs. Keep doing the underdog team talk. A 2-1 defeat here is fine. We're not being embarrassed. It's been a relatively even game. Tottenham just about edging it, but then they're Tottenham and we're Bourne, and they're at home and we're not. So to lose by just the odd goal in that kind of situation, I'm completely comfortable with, especially having just beaten Arsenal. In the previous game, Stamenkovic is in again for Spurs. Hardy makes a save and Vitor Hugo clears. Not towards anyone in a Bourne shirt, but he did sort of just lump it clear, which I guess is better than nothing. It would have been nice to have an attempt at playing it out from the back, though, which is what they're supposed to do. But I guess if he'd have tried that and messed it up, I'd have been even angrier. So I suppose in the circumstances, just get the ball out of the penalty area, then worry about playing it out from the back. The man's clearly got some good decision-making going on there. Right, Spurs coming at us again down our weak left-hand side, and we look like we're chasing shadows a little bit here now. It's reminiscent of the Stoke game that you saw in the second part of the last episode, where we are just... It's like they're toying with us without even really trying. Regulus makes a good tackle there, actually. Regulus, looking to play it forward, can't quite do it. But that was, for a kid on a yellow card in only his 4th game of English football, it was a good tackle. And then he nearly gave away a penalty. But what he actually did was miss the tackle. And then it's a 3rd goal for Spurs. We need Congney back. We need his age and experience. I mean, he's only like 23. We need his experience, so I don't want to see the replays anymore. If the goals are going to start tumbling in, that's my cue to stop watching replays because it just depresses me. Right, Ansong can come on. We haven't played Ansong at all yet this season, so let's get him on. Regulus would love to come off, but we've got no one else who can play left back. I guess Hugo could. We could have moved Quero into that. I don't want to move Hugo out there. I think we're just going to have to gamble on Regulus. And let's face it, if he gets sent off, it doesn't really matter. We're not going to win this game now, are we? What we might do is we're going to bring Amlang on as well. Just because he's a different kind of striker to Lahif. Lahif's very similar to Gomez, so I don't know that the two of them can play together. But Amlang up there with Gomez, I think could work. So let's go attacking. Let's show some passion. Vitor Hugo flicks it on, and there's Amlang with it's offside. I thought he had his first Premier League goal within seconds of entering the pitch, but it has been... I mean, he was offside. It was pretty clear that he was offside. From the flick there, he stood a mile offside. Little bit of inexperience there from Amlang, but, I mean, he looked lively, it's got to be a good thing. Right, Spurs now coming at us again with a set piece. Just get the ball back and run up the other end, lads. Mira wins the ball back nicely. This is exactly what I asked them to do. Gomez trying to chase and close down the defender, but doesn't quite get to him before the clearance is made. But once again, pressing, closing down on that goalkeeper. I like the fact we rush Spurs at times. It forces them into making mistakes like they have there. Regulus to Vitor Hugo, and then Minic plays it forward, looking for the run of Gomez, and Gomez is there. Amlang's going to be lurking somewhere in the middle. It's Arnautovic who picks the ball up. Cernajaki, I don't even know what he's trying to do there. If he's trying to play that into the path of Amlang, he's misjudged it completely. If he's trying to score himself, he needs to have a word with himself because he was never going to score a header from there. And talking of headers, Cruz has missed another one and it's led directly to a goal. I don't think Cruz is a Premier League centre-back. He has been the weak link today, even more so than our young left-back. I don't want to dwell on the goals conceded, but this is like centre-back basics from Cruz. It misses the header. And then, I mean, it's a good finish, but we need to be doing better than Cruz has done there. How tall is he? 6'1". Should be able to win that header, but yeah, I don't think this guy is a Premier League centre-back. Might be someone who we need to upgrade with our new pile of transfer money that we've just been given. Right, Minic. We haven't got anyone. We've got 2 right wingers on the bench and a striker. Let's bring Lahif on. Let's go Lahif and Amlang up front for the final 10 minutes, just to see if between the two of them we can grab a goal. What's most likely to happen is Spurs are going to score again because we're attacking on a 4-2-4 against a team much better than us, which seems like a bad idea. But why were my players were shoving each other out of the way there? Regulus in with another wild slide tackle. How he's not been sent off today, I do not know, but it's just as well because we don't have anyone who can play there in the next game if he does get sent off. And Arnautovic and Mira, between the two of them, win the ball back in midfield. But again, big balls forward like that. Lahif's just not going to win him. He's like 5'7", 5'8". He's a quick little nippy striker. That's the ball Lahif wants. Although, you know what? Give him to Amlang too. That is lovely from Amlang. First Premier League goal for him, and he looked like a proper Premier League striker there. More so than either of the other two have at any point so far this season. This might be the game where Michael Amlang does emerge as the striker that we probably need to spend a little bit more time with going forward. Still only just 19 years old. There is definitely a player for the future in there with Michael Amlang, and that is a huge positive. We've got a very, very young team here at Bourne. If we do manage to figure out a way to stay in the... What a tackle. Who's that? Is that Hugo making that tackle? If we manage to find a way to stay in the Premier League this year, we are only going to get better and better because our team is so young. And now we've got all that money to go out and buy a bunch more wonder kids. Like I'm going to spend it on old men. Buy a load more kids. Let's just buy the youngsters, play the youngsters, and watch the youngsters develop, because that's how you got to do it with a club this size, surely. Amlang now turning nicely, plays it into Arnautovic, who looks for the ball over the top to Lahiv. Lahiv's in, and we saw Amlang get the same chance and score it. Lahiv, not so much. So who's the better striker there, I ask you? Lahiv now with a corner. It's going to be an in-swinger to that far post, and I think we've won a penalty. I tell you what, boys and girls, if we score this, we've got 4 minutes to try and get an equaliser. It's Lahiv with the penalty and scores, and it's 4-3 with 4 minutes of time added on to go. Let's show some passion, and this could be an absolutely ridiculous comeback. All three of our strikers have scored in this game now. That really helps with choosing which one to play in the next game. And, well, we didn't make the comeback, but I tell you what, 4-3 looks a lot more impressive than 4-1 would have done. It's another good effort from the boys. And what's that, 8 games in now, 11 points on the board. We'd have absolutely taken that at the start of the season. 8 games, 11 points. That is a good start. Right, we'll be back on Sunday now, isn't it? Yeah, back on Sunday. Somewhere around here. We'll play another 4, 5, 6 games. Depending on how they go, that'll dictate when we come back. And hopefully we are edging closer towards... If we've got the opportunity to get to 20 points during the next episode, that would be incredible. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.